Welcome, guitar nerds and tone junkies. Today on Gear and Review, I figured I'd do something a little bit different. Well, it's not that much different than what I normally do, but I was going to share with y'all a project guitar that I worked on that I've had finished for. It's actually been done for almost a year. I've been playing it, trying to, see if there's anything else I want to change about it before I did the video. And, I'm glad I did, because I did change my mind about a couple things, and I did switch out a couple other things. But anyway, I guess to start it off, a little background about the story. Round about 2014, I had just underwent surgery. Excuse me, I'm dying of thirst today. I had undergone surgery to remove prostate cancer, and the recovery was a little bit more involved than what I thought it was going to be. And one of my friends, I guess, had noticed that I was just having a little problem processing all the information and making sense of some of the timelines they were giving me. So he knew someone who had had the surgery before. And it just so happens it was someone who was, the funny as this is, the person he knew was a left-handed guitar player who, Jimi Bell. Jimi Bell is currently, he is the guitar player for House of Lords. And if I'm not mistaken, we had him on the podcast, but that last year, and Lord knows my terrible memory. I believe he also has like a Deep Purple cover band, if I'm not mistaken. And if I am mistaken, I am so sorry, Jimmy, but this is all scrambled eggs up here right now. But anyway, it was Jimi Bell, who's like I said, guitar player for House of Lords. And he contacted me via Facebook Messenger, and he just talked about what it was like for him, and gave me more realistic timetables that certain things would heal and other things would get back to normal. And I felt a lot better about everything that was going on after I talked to him, because like I said, I was so far behind the predicted timetables that they were giving me for everything that I was just like, I'm never getting a semblance of regular life back again. But he gave me some realistic timelines, and it helped. But anyway, while we were talking, he had a guitar that he was thinking about selling. Actually, he had went through his stuff, and he had found a guitar body that he had put away, that he was going to do some work to, and I just guess never got around to it. And he was asking me if I would be interested in it, and of course I was like, yes, very interested. And as sometimes, I don't know about other people or other walks of life, but I know, like with musicians, it's real easy to be talking about doing something, then all of a sudden just lose touch over it. I mean, it's like that. Ooh, look, there's a squirrel, and then you're off into the next thing or whatever. So that didn't happen. I had actually forgotten about it. And then last year, me and some friends started doing a podcast. It was the Women, Leather, and Hell podcast. And one of the guests that we got to come on the podcast was Jimi Bell. And during the course of that conversation, I remembered that. Remembered the whole guitar thing. And I just happened to ask him, I said, hey, you would happen to still have that guitar body that you were considering selling, back in 2014, would you? Lo and behold, he did still have it. And I'm hopefully going to insert pictures of that guitar in his possession right here. So, yeah, so he was like, yeah, I still have it, and I haven't done any more work on it than what I had the last time I talked to you, so if you want it. Now, basically what we're talking about here, it was a Gibson, left-handed. First, let's get out of the way. Left-handed, because Jimi Bell's left-handed and I'm left-handed. The guitar's left-handed. In case I forget to say that anymore during this video. So, what we were looking at was a Gibson SG standard. Not the 61, but the standard with the bat wing, what they call the bat wing pick guard. Okay, this guitar had been sent off and been custom painted. And it had this wild graphic on it that I loved. And it's like, my wife took one look at the picture and was like, it looks like, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that you sent this guitar off to be painted and this was your idea. I was like, I know it. This just screams me. I love skulls and I love things of that nature, and it had a lot of that going on. So anyway, it was the body, refinished, painted, clear coat, the whole nine. And then he had the original pick guard. He had black hardware, not attached to the guitar, but in the case. The black hardware was there, so I had all the tuning keys and the tunematic bridge and stop tail piece. I had all that. And there were some pots and output jack in there. So no pickups. So that's what I was buying. And then I would have to do the rest. So we agreed upon a price, paid it, and received the guitar. I actually received it in a Gibson, in an actual Gibson USA case, which I wasn't expecting that, but that was awesome as well. Trying to think, I'm getting tongue-tied now. What happens next? What happened next? We got the guitar in. So the first thing that I did was laid out all the parts to decide what I was going to keep, what I wasn't going to keep, and what I needed to order. The first thing that I noticed was how much detail in this awesome paint job were being hidden by the pick guard. So the first thing I decided is that the original pick guard had to go, and I had it replaced with a clear see-through pick guard. That way, all the entirety of the artwork could be seen. Now, I'll be honest, that was probably the hardest that was probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest, decisions to make. the regular pickup. There is something to be said about how the SG looks. It's like using the black pick guard that came with it. It to me looked more like a real SG with a really wacky, awesome paint job. The other way had less of the classic SG look, but I could see more of the graphics, and I went backwards and forth, but between the two, and more of the graphics won out for me in the end. The second hardest decision was about the pickups. So at the time, I had a set of Gibson 490R and 490T chrome-plated pickups. So I had that. If I wanted to really make it completely Gibson it out, I've got authentic Gibson pickups right here. I had been working on a BC Rich build, and I had just had a set of Seymour Duncan pickups installed in it. I thought the pickups that I had installed, I've used them before. I know that they're very good pickups, but something about it, frequency wise, wasn't vibing with me in the BC Rich guitar. So I took not just the pickups, I took the entirety of the electronics out of the BC Rich and put them into the SG that I'd gotten from Jimi Bell. And then I ordered pickups for the BC Rich. So the pickups wound up being a set of Seymour Duncan Invaders. Seymour Duncan Invaders, one black, one white. They are hooked up to a 2 volumes and a universal tone, with the tone knob being a push-pull coil split. So that's what we decided on pickup wise. The other thing we had to decide on was what to do to cover up some of the cavity, since I was using a clear pick guard. So I went on Amazon.com and I bought these super small miniature skulls. And I placed the skulls in the places of the cavity that wires were going to have to run, and wires would run, plus I didn't want it to look just like a cavity. So it looks more like, to my mind, what it looks like is it looks like catacombs with skulls in it. So I thought that was pretty cool. After I did it, I wasn't sure about it. Showed it to my wife. She kind of felt the same way I did about it, and I am in love with the way the guitar looks personally. So then after that, I put all the hardware on, tuning keys, stop tailpiece, tune-o-matic bridge. I did the majority of the setup. Needed to have the setup fine-tuned, so So I took it into Tone Technologies for just a quick, you know, just to dial it in a little bit better than I had in certain aspects. And so it was set to go. It was ready. There was nothing else left to do with it. So with that, let's show you the guitar. You've freaking ran my mouth on and on and on about it. Let's take a look at her. This is my, as you can see the headstock, it's my Gibson Les Paul. Has Jimi Bell's name on it. I do have the truss rod cover. I just haven't put it on yet. Still deciding what to do with that. And as you can see, right here is the part I was talking about the most. When you look right here, there's a skull here and a spider here, and there's all this other detail. All that would have been covered up with a black pick guard. You wouldn't see any of that. And I was like, I thought that really needed to be seen. And as you can see, there's the skulls down in the catacombs. I don't know how I would be, but it looks like I'm missing a skull. Huh. Well, that's interesting. I still have some somewhere, so if I find another one, I can fix that. But anyway, like I said, this is it is custom painted all the way around. This way, so you can see that. There's I'm telling you, this paint job is just absolutely amazing with the skull, with the snake that goes up the headstock. So nice. There you have it. And then, like I said, also put a coil tap there. One thing I did forget, part that I did change as well, is these knobs. These knobs are, let's see if I can get it close enough, they're gun shells, or made to look like gun shells. And they're actually made of metal. And color-wise, I think it just meshes better than if I'd have put top hats on it. But, you know, like I said, 2 volumes, here and here. 1 tone. The tone is a push-pull pot, which allows you to split the coils here. Like I said, these are Seymour Duncan Invaders. The only thing I'm not sure about is I'm not sure if he had the original hardware. Well, these aren't original, I know for a fact, because they're locking. But I don't know if he had these painted or refinished, excuse me, not painted, but refinished, or if these were factory and refinished. I guess what I'm trying to say, I don't know if these were factory and refinished, or if these are something like some Tone Pros or something else. I'm not sure about that. But it sounds good, works good, and I know that he was going to play it that way. And Jimi Bell is he's one of the best guitar players I know, and if he played it, then it's fine. And then these are, I cannot remember. Are these? Where's my cell phone? There we go. They are. So, and these are Spurzl locking tuners. I probably wouldn't be able to get it to focus on that, but man, me take my word on it. But those are Spurzl locking tuners. Yeah, and like I said, the only thing is I haven't put the truss rod cover on yet. At the time, it needed a at the time, it needed a truss rod adjustment, so that's why it wasn't on. But now that it's had one, it's all gravy. But yeah, I've had no issues whatsoever with this guitar. This is one of the favorite axes that I own. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of share that with y'all. People say, what's it sound like? And I hate to be that guy, but I mean, it sounds like an SG. It looks amazing, but it sounds like a Gibson SG. Not much difference. I got a little bit more, a little higher power, a little bit more oomph coming from under the hood with these two Seymour Duncan Invaders, but the overall tone of the guitar is still the same. So yeah. And I know for some people, like especially some Gibson purist type people, that this paint job would be looked at as totally sacrilegious, that, you know, you would do that to the guitar, but I'm not a traditionalist. And I think this is one of the most awesome looking guitars I've ever owned. And I can tell you that it is one of the best playing guitars. You know, you're never going to see another Gibson SG that looks like the one I own. Ever. I do have another Gibson SG. Was given to me, a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, the guy that actually got me into metal music. He unalived himself a couple of years ago, and his fiance sent me his guitar. So I have his Gibson SG back there that I'm working on as well. I'm going to have it strung for left hand. We had met the members of Venom Inc. when they came to Virginia the first time. And when we were very young, still in high school, we contacted Mike Hickey, who at the time was the guitar player for Venom. Well, it just so happens that the planets aligned just right. Mike Hickey was playing with Venom Inc. in Raleigh, which is close to where I live. So I was able to take that same said guitar that was Jamie's, that was given to me by his fiance. I was able to get all the members of Venom Inc. plus Mike Hickey to sign it. And then I took the guitar apart, I clear coated it, and now I'm in the process of putting it back together and getting a new left-handed nut filed and installed, and then I'll have that SG as well. So anyway, I'm Gillen H2O. This has been Gear in Review, and we were just kind of shooting the shit about my custom painted Gibson SG Standard that I got from Jimi Bell. Anyway, Big Gillen H2O. It's been Gear in Review. That has been my Gibson SG Standard with the custom paint job. I call it the Jimi Bell SG, or the JB SG. Later.